We're good? Okay. Welcome to, what is it? May 6th, meeting of the Supervisor Board of Education. Rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. And we'll go back to Jim for.
All right, very brief report. Just wanted to update you on what's going on in the world of body cameras. We had a meeting with the county sheriff's office and the other superintendents in the county who have SROs. And the plan is for the body cameras to be placed in September 1st. Next step is going to be drafting of an MOA. That MOA will be approved by the board, so you'll get more information on that. But appreciate the partnership with the county sheriff's office, especially in terms of the timeline. I think they're going to be ready to go, perhaps, on the body cameras a little bit earlier. But we collectively asked if we could wait to September 1 as part of a rollout, which just seemed to make sense from a school calendar point of view, instead of trying to do something like this, in May or June. So appreciate the work of the county sheriff's office and their support, and we'll be updating you as that becomes closer to a reality. And we'll go right to our video. Thanks to Brian Radowitz for the video and moderating our Meet the Candidates tonight as well. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thanks, Jim. We have two presentations. So I believe we're starting with curriculum for them.
I'll do the little intro as they're getting set up here. As a reminder, this is a process that we do annually with different content areas. We started this back in the 21-22 school year. Each renewal team really goes through 4 phases. The big chunk of the work happens in phase 2, which is the review phase. And we ask each team to come to the board to present what they found out about their content areas. What's unique about renewal is it's one of the few chances we get to bring teams together vertically. This is not just in a building, but it's what's happening at a K-12, or in this case tonight, a 6-12 level. So the teams really get a chance to work across buildings and share with us what they found out about their content area and where they'd like to go next with it. So this is between the review and the modify phase of renewal. I do want to point out, we do ask that an administrator also facilitate, but not lead. We really want this work to be about what the team needs. So we do have an administrative facilitator, but they're really there just to make sure that the ship is moving forward. Although in this case, I think the administrator has a little more vested interest, being a former world language teacher himself. And he's also just not a principal, as you saw, he's also a beekeeper in the picture. So I'll turn things over to Heath to kick this off with the group.
Well,
Thank you. Thank you guys for having us this evening. I actually have the easiest job in the world this evening for tonight. I just simply need to introduce some amazing world language teachers. These are our world language teachers from grades 6 through 12, both at Algonquin Middle School and the high school. And like Matt had said, you work with different groups, and some make you work really hard, and others just do all the work. I do want you guys to know that the World Language Department jumped into this with enthusiasm, rolled up their sleeves, and they simply took off. So aside from setting up rooms and checking in with them from time to time and bringing some breakfast, they did the work with this. So great job to them, and without any further ado, I present to you the World Language Department.
Okay, hello, board. Okay, so who we are at Algonquin Middle School, we have Tony Conover, Amy Miller, who teaches French 7 and 8, Susana Graziano teaching Spanish 8, and not with us tonight is Kim Feliz, who teaches Spanish 7 and 8. Here at the high school, here I am, Mary Scheidel, and I teach Spanish 2, 3, and 4. Our fabulous new colleague, Robin Willoughby, who teaches Spanish 2 and taught Global Cinema Studies earlier this year. Colleen Clark-Appelans, who teaches Spanish 1, 3, and 5. And Monsieur Papa Brown, who teaches French 2, 3, and 4, 5. Lots of French.
The curriculum renewal concept is straightforward. We want to review what we do in grades 7 through 12 and ensure what our students do connects to the new New York State standards and guidelines for world languages. It just so happens that the implementation of these standards and guidelines is reflected for the first time for this year's Checkpoint A or 8th grade exams in French and Spanish. Curriculum renewal provided us the opportunity to make sure our lessons were appropriate for this change. The Checkpoint B exam in 2 years will reflect this change also, so our work will continue.
In 2021, New York State began rebuilding the world language standards. We used to be known as LOTE, languages other than English, and now we are, for the last few years, known as world languages. These standards are broken into 2 anchor standards, communication and culture. And under communication, there's interpretive, interpersonal, and presentational communication. These standards guide students to communicate effectively in the target language, using authentic resources, stating opinions, providing preferences, ability to explain and present products and other cultures. The culture standard also has a communication focus. Learners use the target language to identify, describe, compare, and explain practices, products, and perspectives of the cultures that they are studying. So with all of our new, the standards of a different way of looking at our new standards, we needed to come up with a curriculum program that would align with this. And 4 years ago, Susana Graziano spearheaded, piloted the Somos curriculum program with her Spanish 8 students. She's spearheaded the exploration with the implementation of this valuable resource and shared how her students were acquiring the language and not just learning Spanish. After her piloted year, both 7th and 8th grade Spanish, now we use the Somos curriculum, and Somos means we are in Spanish. Through Somos, language is acquired. It's through comprehensible input. It's how you learned your first language, through stories, through music, through performances. And we are very happy with, so far, the last 3-4 years that we have been using Somos and seeing how much the students have performed above and beyond our expectations.
As we work with comprehensible input and acquisition-driven instruction in our world language curriculum, we have become, as a district, better suited to reach and exceed the New York State standards and provide accessible language learning for all students through quality differentiation that the comprehensible input method provides. For checkpoint A, which is level 1, we have aligned our newly adopted curriculum with the New York State themes and topics. By working on filling in our gaps, we have created an All About Me unit, implementing and curating cohesive and authentic, level-appropriate comprehensible input material. We have also implemented our first digital and differentiated graphic novel in 8th grade.
Oh, no.
All right, so some of more of our Spanish 7 through 12 outcomes to date. Mary Chayel and I have worked tirelessly since the beginning of the school year to develop the pacing, to make sure we can combine both the SOMOS curriculum, which you heard a little bit about, as well as the other resource we use called Send Your Bully. And both of those really allow for what you had heard about best way to acquire language, those through songs, through stories. And to go along with that, we undertook the task of cataloging all of the Spanish novels and readers that we have. We have roughly 85 to date, and they range in levels, thankfully, from very beginner novice all the way to advanced. And as you can see from the covers of those books, it's in a wide range of topics and formats, so that we were really reaching all the students regardless of interest or ability.
So for the French program, we also decided to go with SOMOS, but in French it's called Nous Sommes. And this year, Jeff and I worked hard on aligning it through 7th and 8th grade. And Susanna did all the hard work researching it. I researched other things, and this was the best one, so thank you for Susanna for doing that. As Jeff and I worked together within this whole group, we worked on taking Nous Sommes through 9th and 10th grade as we progress into the rest of the implementation of the new state standards. We are also working on making sure all of our students know about the seal of biliteracy well before they get to their senior year of high school. This is something that we think more students should be taking advantage of, and not just in French and Spanish. If families have, and I'm probably stepping on toes, I'm sorry. But we are talking about it a lot at Algonquin, trying to help kids get prepared and thinking about what can they do once they get up to the high school.
So this is the general portrait of a graduate, and I am going to talk about the seal of biliteracy, which is something that you can get as a senior in high school, and it really involves every part of that portrait of a graduate. You have to be a critical thinker. It's a research project. You have to be an innovative problem solver. You're talking to a group of native speakers in a language that is your second language, and you need to be able to figure out how to communicate with them. And all of those other things that we do in our seal of biliteracy. Our seal of biliteracy was implemented in 2018, and since that time, we've had 32 students who have earned the seal. 15 of those have been in French, 15 have been in Spanish, 1 has been in French and Spanish, and last year we had a student do it in German. And as we go through our recommendations for 25-26, we need to continue to align our curriculum for the Checkpoint A curriculum exam, and then we need to prepare for the Checkpoint B exam, which will be coming to the high school in 2 years. We are, as Amy said, looking to push down the awareness of the seal of biliteracy into the middle school. And my goal is to reach out next year to the entire community, because you do not have to have the language in your school, teach the language in your school for a student to earn the seal of biliteracy. We don't have German. The student spoke German at home, and so she did her seal in German. And then we all want to establish a designated time for free voluntary reading during class. I just want to throw out, I've started doing reading when students finish an assignment and they finish before everybody else. And the other day, I gave them another option to play a game on the computer, and a couple of the students said, can I just read a book instead? And they're absolutely not required to do anything with those books. There is no assignment that goes along with it. They're just reading. And I had students go today online to try to find the book so that they could buy it and have it at home. So, thank you very much. Jeff, did you have more to say?
Yes.
So I was actually explaining to Jeff today that I recently had sort of one of those experiences that as teachers you have where a former student of yours is going into teaching and they want to talk to you about it. And my former student had asked me, is there any piece of advice or anything you tell someone getting into teaching, something that they should know? And what I said to her was, teaching is something that you absolutely cannot do alone. And this curriculum renewal process that we have worked on this whole year is really that put into action. It was not just a matter of, some colleagues getting together and working on, some very dry type things. It was more a chance for all of us to bond. And the time that we spent for myself as a new employee has been invaluable. And I would definitely like to thank you all for the opportunity for us to meet that way and to really work on making this program even better than it is. Thank you.
That's it. Yep.
Do you guys have any questions?
I don't have any questions, but just a comment, and in that I appreciate your dedication and enthusiasm for the process, but also for your students and for what you bring to them. And I love the term acquiring the language versus learning it, because it just speaks volumes. So, and congratulations on 32 seals of biliteracy. I think that's an excellent number. We look forward to that.
And 2 more to come this year.
Yeah, excellent. So thank you very much.
Thank you for the presentation. I want to just point out a couple of things that were just kind of make your heart full. The reference that students choosing to read versus screen time is great. I'm an avid reader, love books, and I always say it's not hoarding if it's books or plants. So really just love to hear that students are looking for that. In my professional life, there are parts of my job that are kind of like monotonous and tedious and stuff you don't want to do. And then there are parts that you get to participate in that are fulfilling and enriching, and you get to feel good about something that you're doing. I am getting the sense that you all got a fulfilling and enriching experience out of getting to collaborate on this, and I love that for you, because what you guys get a positive experience out of just bubbles over onto our kids, and they benefit from that. So thank you for the time and the extra effort that you put into this team, approach, because clearly it was meaningful, and I'm sure that our kids will benefit from that. So thank you.
Thank you guys for coming and spending your Tuesday night with us, and also for all of the effort that you clearly put into working on this throughout the year. Language is so important, and the fact that you guys have put so much time in will benefit your students, both I think in the language of their choice, but also in English and just as communicators in general. So just thank you, and thank you for putting your passion and everything into it.
So I'm really curious about the German seal of biliteracy. Can you just really briefly walk me through how that happened, what the process looked like?
Sure. So the student was actually in my Spanish 5 class, and when we were discussing the seal, she's like, no way, I do not speak Spanish, but if I could get it in German, I could do it. I said, well, of course you can get it in German. And so then we had to, you have to have 3 points in a column of English, which includes Regents exams, grades in an English class, grades on the exams for our second language learners, and a presentation. And wherever you get those 3 points, you can have them. And then on the language side, you can get points by being in a class, you can get points by taking certain exams. A student that moves from another country can get points for their grades back in the country of their language, or a presentation. Most people end up having to do a presentation to get those 3 points. And so she also had to take an exam because she wasn't in a class. So I contacted Actifel, which is our national language program, and they have exams online. She had to take the exam. Our student who did it in French and Spanish, she spoke Spanish at home, so she also had to take the Spanish exam. And then luckily, Mr. Brown's wife speaks German, so she was the panel. And our student came and presented to her, and she got the rubric, and she was the one who listened to her presentation. I helped my student kind of with general ideas of what it should be, but I don't speak German, so that was all on her. And her mom helped her too. And my goal, I've been doing a book study with State Ed this year on the seal of biliteracy. And my goal is to somehow get the word out to the entire community so that more people know about this. I know for a fact that next year I have a junior this year who's going to do it in Hebrew. And so it's really great that this is expanding more. And I also want to make sure that our ELL students know about it, that they can do it in both languages.
That's great, thank you.
I just want to thank you guys for that is an above and beyond sort of that you guys are, instead of just saying, well, I don't have a German teacher here, to be able to say, well, now wait a second, we can do this. And I really love the idea of looking out to the community for who speaks other languages, because lots of people do. I mean, if you need another French conversationalist, I'll volunteer my husband, although it's Canadian French, so. But can I also just ask, what might be a dumb question? The checkpoint A and checkpoint B exams, are those different than Regents exams? Are they taking the place of Regents exams?
So they've taken the place of Regents exams. They count just like a Regents exam, just New York State no longer pays to make them. We make them.
Okay.
And so in some, we do this year, the checkpoint A exam is using an exam made up of a consortium of different school districts in the area. 26 different school districts.
So kids they're not taking like a language Regents exam anymore, it's just this checkpoint A.
Yeah, but it counts the same. So like sometimes in class we tell them it's a Regents exam because that seems to make them take it more seriously.
Whatever you gotta do now.
Yep.
I hear ya. Anybody else? Thank you guys so much. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you. Yeah, as they're wrapping up and we're transitioning next presentation, I want to applaud them for obviously all the hard work that you heard about tonight. I want to applaud them for the work they've done with the immersion, which is, they were really, on the ball with that. Even before these standards became a thing, they were working towards that. And it is a very different way to learn a foreign language, and applaud them for that. And I want to applaud them because we open this up to anyone who wants to be part of renewal. It's not required. So some we have smaller groups than others. Every member of the department chose to participate in this voluntary. It's not easy. They give up classroom time. They have to make lesson plans for subs. It's not an easy thing to do. So I want to say thank you for all the hard work, but for all of the people in the department to be involved is really special. So thanks.
Thank you.
Nice job, nice job. Thank you.
Whenever you're ready.
I just kind of set up Tony, it's been a little while now since Tony's been here, and we wanted to invite him back. There's been a ton of stuff going on, past, present, and future with the projects. Really want to thank Tony and the folks at Mosaic. They've just done an amazing job. We are still ahead of schedule. We are still under budget. We are still adding scope. We are still designing future project, working on current project, looking at past stuff, and then these $100,000 projects that have come up, and the safety stuff that we're doing. It's been quite a lift, and as much as we'd like to take a victory lap, we're heading into what's probably going to be, I think, in Tony's world, and Tony's world, probably the busiest possible summer ever, because it's condensed time frame. So he's going to talk a little bit about that. But thank Tony for his work, and excited to hear, or for the board to hear about what's been going on here in the capital project world.
Thanks very much, and I appreciate the introduction for tonight's update. It's been a while since we've been with you to give you an update of where things stand, and the superintendent is correct. This is going to be our busiest year of all the projects that we currently have underway and planned. This is the fourth year of construction under the $28.5 million project approved by the voters in October of 2021. We'll go through that status tonight. We'll talk about the start of the $39.9 million project that was voted by the voters, approved in September of last year. And we're going to talk about an emergency project that's really just an acceleration of something that was planned in the $39.9 million, but needs to be brought front and center so that we can complete that work this summer and move forward quickly. So we need an authorization from the board tonight to move that forward. And then, of course, any questions. So I thought we'd start with an overview of where we've been and what we've accomplished. And I've got a lot of slides, but I'm going to tab through them really quickly and just narrate kind of the things that we've been doing. So between 2021 and 24, when we passed the vote in 2021, our first year of construction was 2022. We started with security hardware upgrades at all of our buildings. All 7 of our buildings had intruder hardware established and put into areas that hadn't previously been improved. The bus garage in 22 and 23, we redid the roof. We put in all new overhead doors and operators for each one of the door openings. And we did some work in the mechanical systems in the building, and we replaced the fire alarm system, which was also an emergency project that we accelerated. At the high school, we relocated the photovoltaic array and did a large-scale partial roof restoration. All of our roofs have gone to a white system that's a restoration of the existing EPDM roof that was there, much more energy efficient, much more environmentally friendly. We're not tearing off and removing the roofs and all the insulation. We're taking the valuable components of those roofing systems and maintaining them and putting a new restorative coating on top of those systems and making sure all of the flashing and other details are watertight with a 20-year warranty. So a very good and very economical approach to roofing. We redid the entry at the high school. We put in new security vestibules. We also did significant improvements in the bus atrium. We also improved mechanical units in both the high school office and in the district office. We did quite a bit of improvement in the kitchen areas. We replaced freezers and redid kitchen serving lines. We updated the bathrooms in the high school. We updated the water treatment system. And we also did control wiring for all of that. We added work that wasn't originally scheduled. We put new replacement bleachers in the gymnasium. That was a desired component, but not a part of the original referendum. We were able to accomplish that through savings, and we'll be talking about savings and other improvements that have been added to the project a little bit further on in the presentation. You see here in this picture the full vestibule, security vestibule and entrance window at the high school. And again, some of the final pictures on improvements, the new freezer, the new bathroom upgrades, and the new kitchen prep areas. At the middle school, we did similar work. We put in new security vestibule at the main entry. We basically completely redid the main office. We significantly replaced and put a new boiler in at Algonquin, which was sorely needed and was really literally being band-aided together for the last 2 years before we did that work. That's the new boiler room. For those of you who've spent any time in the boiler room, this is a massive change. We tore down and replaced the chimney to the boiler area. We also did some pretty significant upgrades in the main office. Not the least of our improvements included the fire alarm system replacement at Algonquin. That is one of the first. We will be doing that district-wide in each one of the buildings in the $39.9 million referendum. This was our first full-scale improvement in the 28.5. We also replaced and restored roof areas at Algonquin, and at the high school, our servery areas. Also at the high school in 24, our press box was replaced, and we did some significant bleacher repair. The emergency generator system was a major component of what we worked on last summer. This was a very large undertaking and took a good chunk of the summer to put in a backup emergency power system in place for the high school so that we would never lose telecommunication or network devices, as well as keeping power in the building. At Algonquin, we replaced interior courtyard windows and restored damaged brick from work that had been done in its original construction in 1966. We also added very significant ventilation needed in the kitchen area, which provided fresh air and ventilation in that area, as well as improvements inside the kitchen area itself. We replaced last summer significant portions of roof and restored roof at West Sand Lake and Posting Hill and George Washington and Miller Hill, all completed over the past 3 years. This year, which will be our busiest year, includes working at each one of the buildings, plus the bus garage, approximately $8.5 million worth of work. It's significantly larger than we've done in past years by over $1.5 million, so it's a percentage-wise very big increase. And this happens to be our shortest summer, unfortunately. So because of the calendar, we actually can't start full-scale work until June 30th, and we have to be done by August 29th for the start of school right after Labor Day. So we lose about a week and a half this year in comparison to other years. What are we accomplishing? At West Sand Lake, we'll be focused on fire alarm system replacement, security vestibule upgrades, roof trim and gutter installation already underway and completed, boiler replacement well underway, water treatment system replacement, bathroom upgrades, kitchen ventilation systems, kitchen replacement of equipment, and the new sewage ejector pump at West Sand Lake. At Posting Hill, significant improvements in the security vestibule will be a new addition. We'll be really reconstructing the entire entryway. We have a boiler replacement underway, and the cafeteria will see a major facelift. We'll be removing the ceiling, taking down the movable partition, taking out all the windows on the main wall in front of the building, as well as the door, and replacing those. We'll be putting in a new HVAC system, including air conditioning at Posting Hill, and we'll be doing quite a bit of kitchen improvements as well. At Miller Hill, we'll be doing similar work to Posting Hill, security vestibule and related improvements, fire alarm system replacement underway, water treatment system replacement, cafeteria renovations mirroring Posting Hill, ceiling replacement, and new HVAC system, including air conditioning. We'll be removing a skylight and infilling that roof area and doing new roofing over that. We'll be doing miscellaneous bathroom piping and upgrades, and we will also be coming back next summer to complete a bit of work that we know we can't get done this summer, which includes the renovation of the original boys and girls bathrooms on the first and second level from the original construction. They have not been replaced or upgraded significantly since their original construction. We added this work as a new scope item, not originally planned in the original referendum, with savings that were generated through the work that we've done so far. George Washington will be having a security vestibule added. Boiler replacement is underway. A new access point to the lower level boiler room is being added and has been built, which is new areaway with a louver opening for that room. Select window replacement, door and hardware replacement, and miscellaneous ventilation at George Washington. At the bus garage, we have added a new project due to the age of the original service lists that were put in, over 30 years old, not serviceable, and were really an unsafe condition that jeopardized the safety of staff and inspectors. We added the replacement of those two lifts, as well as restoring the service bay floors, and replacing the floor drainage systems to be serviceable and comply with health code. So we've added all that work. A very substantial amount of investment has been added to the project, again, funded through the savings that we've accrued on the project that was approved in the 28.5. At Algonquin, we're finishing up well water system control replacement and septic control replacement. And at the high school, we're finishing up some courtyard drainage improvements, crawl space waterproofing and drainage improvements, and emergency response signage all underway. So what have we accomplished so far? In addition to the scopes of work, we're 70% complete overall. We have about $20 million of the $28.5 million spent and completed through April of 25. We are completing the work 1 year earlier than originally scheduled, and we're still on schedule for that. And again, this is all the originally planned work. Plus, we've incorporated almost $2 million worth of new work from the accrued savings. A total accrued savings of about $3 million overall on the overall project, 2 already invested and 1 still in reserve for a 4th phase that we'll be adding, and I'll be talking about that in a minute. The current summer is about $8.5 million, as I said earlier. That's a huge amount of work. We typically want a budget between $6 and $7 million on the top side for summer work because it just takes that much effort from the local contracting market. I think we'll be okay, but we've worked very closely with building administration and buildings and grounds, and of course through the leadership of Dr. Franchini and Carrie and the administrative staff to go through and put together a very tight plan for this summer. So it's really start to finish this summer. It's going to be a sprint all the way through. Everyone's worked really well together to try to make sure we have the best chances for success. And our contracting team has been extremely good. So in addition to our good team at Mosaic and Engineered Solutions, the design team, our contractors are right behind us, and we think we'll be in very good shape to complete on time. As I said earlier, our remaining budget, we still have over $1 million of savings that have been remain accrued on the 28.5 after we complete the work I've just described. So here's a quick review of the savings applied to new project work that we've done up to this point. At the high school, we added new gym bleachers. At West Sand Lake, we expanded the roofing and drainage improvements. At Post and Kill, we've added air conditioning and ventilation upgrades to the cafeteria, the same at Miller Hill. We've also added the bathroom renovation at Miller Hill on the 1st and 2nd floor, which was not originally in the project. At the bus garage, the 2 lift replacements and the floor restoration. At the high school, the courtyard and tree removal and stump removal, crawl space improvements with some improvements underneath the bus atrium. The emergency signage was added to the project. We've also put in other security improvements at the high school and the middle school. And we expect to be able to have money available to be able to do canopy restoration in front of the high school. Also to restore the canopy and entrance area of the gymnasium complex at the high school, and to add additional HVAC upgrades at the high school main office. These are all things that will be added or have been added to the scope of work of the originally planned $28.5 million. And we can add a new phase 4, which will focus on the CTE related improvements. We think we have about $1 million plus available, and we're currently working with Dr. Franchini and Heath and the rest of the staff in the CTE area to plan out a 3-phase step improvement of the CTE program. First, we'll be focusing on resolving some space and storage and utilization issues by improving some of the facilities that we have with new racking systems and helping them organize some of the space a little bit better and help deploy some of the program in a little different way. The second phase we're currently designing right now, which will come up with concept designs this month, which will start to look at consolidating some of the program into better space utilization, which could be relocating some program or using some spaces that are currently tasked differently in the CTE area to make the curriculum much more integrated with the facilities that are here and potentially expanding some of the facilities in a smaller way. And then long range, the third phase, will be to focus on a master plan to develop the CTE area in a much broader format, which may include things like looking at building additions or future renovations. Again, things down the road, but forward thinking so that we don't spend money now to do improvements that we would undo later if we're really focusing on CTE improvement. We think between the facilities team and the board facilities committee, we've had several conversations about this, and we think this is an appropriate area to focus on the investments on. The timeline for this, will finish up scope and budget development between January and the end of this month. Our update to you tonight. And then between May and September, we'll be doing the design documents for SED submission. They'll review them between October and December. And our goal is to be up to bid in January and February for the improvements that we would build next year for CTE area. And that wraps up our $28.5 million project. Moving on to the $39.9 million project. This is a 6-year completion plan divided into 4 separate phases. This is based on our current work with both Mosaic Engineered Solutions and what we think is the best way to execute the full scope of improvements across the district. If you recall from last year's work, the whole referendum has been based on the critical priority 1 items from the building condition survey that was completed by Mosaic and Engineered Solutions in 2024. That's about $39.9 million of over $100 million of total identified improvements. So we're focusing on only the most urgent and critical. There's a heavy focus in that work on site work, which includes paving, curbs, sidewalks, drainage, lighting, and other related improvements. It's about 40% to 50% of the overall value of the total referendum. And then also significant building improvements, which are really brick and mortar items, again, focusing on deferred maintenance and systems that have reached the end of their life cycle and need to be replaced. Phase 1 will be the start of our project, and it will focus on work this summer in 2025 and next summer, 2026. At the high school, we have the PA system replacement, which is the emergency project we'll be talking about tonight. And next summer, we'll be focusing on both site work and building renovation at Algonquin. So Algonquin will be the focus of the summer of 2026 and probably through the school year of 26-27. The current status of design is we're underway. We anticipate having documents submitted to the State Education Department for review September, October-ish of this year. Their approval in about 3 to 4 months. And we're looking for that bid award period in January to March so that we can start construction in the spring. And that will be completed by the end of the 26-27 school year. Most of the work will be occurring in the summer, so it's going to be a very busy summer in 26 as well. 27-28 will focus on the high school, both its site work and building renovations, as well as the bus garage, which is predominantly almost exclusively site work. That will last over a 2-summer period, so the summer of 27 and 28. The design for that work will start immediately after we finish the work on the first phase. So starting in October of this year through September of 26 will be the design phase for those buildings and site improvements. We'll go out to bid in January and March of 27 for that work. And then we'll start work in April of 27 and complete in December of 28. Phase 3 will focus on Miller Hills improvements, the site work and the building renovation. As an elementary school, it's one of the larger investment areas. We're going to be replacing all of the windows in the original building, which is a big undertaking for that building, as well as completely reconstructing the playground area and all the site improvements. So it's a phase unto itself. We'll be focusing on the design for that work in October 26 to September of 27, bidding awarding that work in January and March of 28, and then building that work in 28-29. And then the last phase, phase 4, will be completed between 29 and 30. It includes West Sand Lake, Posting Hill, and George Washington, which have site work and building improvements in each one of those buildings. West Sand Lake site work is substantial in the majority of the value in this particular phase. Design work will start in October of 27 and complete in September of 28. SED approval by the end of the year. And then January to March of 29, we will bid. and then build between April of 29 and December of 2030. I know that's a long way out, but to me, every minute of that is kind of scheduled out. This is going to be a very aggressive process to get this completed. There's a potential that we can stack the work a little differently and maybe get some of it completed sooner than this, but I think this is a safe plan, but an aggressive plan to complete all that work. Now into the emergency project. The high school's PA system recently did not perform as necessary under an emergency test circumstance, and that raised concerns for the superintendent and building administration. They brought it to the team's attention, and we started to do an evaluation of that system. We found that it is unreliable, will not broadcast appropriately in different areas of the building. It's sporadic, and it really is due to the age of the system. It's a system was installed over 30 years ago, and it's just met its life expectancy and then some. So we are proceeding with a resolution presented to you tonight to declare an emergency project. What that does, and the reason we're asking for this, is that it accelerates the state education department's review and approval of the project. If we didn't declare an emergency project, it is already included in the $39.9 million project. So it's approved by the voters, it's part of our budget. This is not a new budget expense. But we would have to wait for the state education department to review the plans, and that might take us well into the fall before we can start to do the improvements. By declaring an emergency project, it goes to the front of the line. We can start the work immediately, which is to get that done over the summer and have the PA system online for the beginning of the school year. The resolution also identifies that we'll be using the Omnia co-op contracting path, which we've used for other contracted work, to expedite that award and process to get the project underway as soon as possible. And again, the goal will be to get that set up for the beginning of the school year. Before I ask for questions, I just want to make a couple comments. This project, since we've started in 2021, has gone as smoothly as any project I've ever been involved with. And I'm really pleased to say that it's based on the performance of a great team, led first and foremost by the superintendent and the administrative team. The board, the staff, and the building administrators here have all worked together hand in glove to put together a project that is well organized. Everyone's committed to a good outcome. Our contracting teams have been fantastic. We've been very fortunate. We've had no underperformers or poor performers. Everyone has stepped up and done above and beyond what's been expected in their base contracts. Our design team has been fantastic. Mosaic and Engineered Solutions have done a phenomenal job. And the state education department has been very responsive to our needs to help us get along the way. So everyone has stepped up and performed, and it's really been a great honor to work with this team and to help bring it to where it is today. So we're very happy to report a lot of successes, and it's all based on good teamwork. Questions?
Oh, I didn't see you.
Okay.
You were Adam and
Thank you. I appreciate your commitment, your care, the whole team's commitment and care to this project. You know, we all are very cognizant of our need to be fiscally responsible. And the fact that you guys are carrying that forward as, you know, contractors to the district, not members. I mean, I know you live in the district, but you know what I mean, not on the board or whatever, means so much that this project is, you know, ahead of schedule, under budget, like those things like never happen. And here they are, and you're doing great work. And you know, I'm sure you're keeping the facilities committee updated, but also the fact that you sat with the facilities committee to get these priorities to work on that. And now you know, like the other things that are on the list that you can just hit because you keep coming under budget. And it's amazing. And we appreciate it, and good luck this summer.
So yeah, Tony, I don't know, before this meeting, I said, Jim, we're hearing from Tony, and he promised me something more entertaining than Hamilton. And I was a little bit skeptical, but coming in 1 year early from the original scope and saving $3 million, which is more than 10% of savings, that's certainly like Hamilton stuff. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank
Can I just point one thing out, and then I'll go over there? That savings came when inflation was at what, 10%? 4%. So by all rights, it should go in the other direction, so I just appreciate that. Megan?
So Michelle and I sit on the facilities committee, so we get a bit of a bird's eye view and the ability to participate in the process. And also having sat through the development of multiple capital projects at this point and gotten quite the education that I did not have before joining the board. And the understanding that we as a board have gone to great lengths to understand and hear the community's concerns, and to Jesse's point, being fiscally responsible and ultra conservative in how we spend the money. The ability of the team to have a fluidity of thinking, to be creative and problem solving in a real serious, like fast way, to be able to recognize the opportunity to save the funds, to be able to recognize the ability to divert those savings to additional projects that originally, it wasn't that we didn't want to do those things, it was that we weren't able to factor it in, right? When you're budgeting things out, and it's such a blessing and such a gift to the community to have you and the whole team doing this for us, because you're such just you do amazing work, the team does amazing work, you're humble, which is super nice. It's just such a great thing, because we have a lot of hard things that we have to do. And there's, a lot of decisions we've had to make that were bad or worse. And to be able to deliver good news and to deliver those results and all of those things. Fantastic, great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi. Great job, but I do have some questions. But I do think you're great. On the PA system, the emergency funding, just so I understand a little bit better, are we going to pay more by filing for the emergency use by using the co-op, or it's just
Nope.
just to get the permit?
It's really all about expediting the work. No additional costs, no increased costs, just allows us to execute as quickly as possible.
Perfect, I love that. You smile. And then I was hoping it was not like a catch-22 to that. And then also, randomly, this is for you. Does Questar at all help with renovations for George Washington since they lease, or no, just because it's our real estate, we are responsible with our integrity and due diligence to take care of those?
That's a good question. Tony and Carrie, feel free to jump in. This part of it is us, because we're the owners and the operators of the building. They have contributed to some of the upgrades that have been done over time at GW. Some things that they wanted to add, they have paid for.
Like cosmetically or
Yeah,
like structurally?
it's not long-term building improvements.
Our improvements are the true bricks and mortar that are required by the lease as the landlord, and their improvements are more personal property, furniture and fixtures and related items, not really a part of the real estate. We're responsible for the real estate.
Awesome. I just wanted that clear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? So thanks, Tony. I gotta say, and actually before, we can wrap it up. That was amazing. That was like a ginormous amount of information that was remarkably digestible.
Went through it fast. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's really good. And I also just, while we're on this topic, I just want to thank Michelle and Megan, like in the facilities committee, because we're wearing different hats here, and then we also have like our actual jobs, and then also kids. And so to have you guys be able to sort of boil it down for us and keep us on track is very appreciated. Because we all can't be everywhere all the time. Right, choose what's next. This is, I think Tony's already done, right? Right. It is our first public comment session for the evening for items on the agenda. I have no blue sheets. So we will move on to the approval of the minutes of our April 22, 2025 meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes, Megan, and then Lauren second. Any discussion on the minutes? Very short meeting of April 22. I just want to thank you guys for just making this so quick. Any commentary? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of approving the meeting minutes passed. All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you very much. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda for business, personnel, and special education. Megan first, Jess D seconds. Discussion. Adam and then Jess D.
So item 6G, the Greenbush childcare lease, I read it through twice, but it was late at night after a long day. And can you just kind of tell me give me a summary of what this is about?
So we contract with Greenbush Childcare. They do our before and after programs at our elementary school. So in exchange we charge them rent essentially for the morning and the afternoon, and then also if they're for summer use of the facility. So it's really a rental agreement, just laying out what we charge them for rent every year, and then if they want to use our facilities on days that we are closed for a holiday, for example, like a Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, just that we charge them custodial fees to open the buildings for them. So
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Jess.
I just wanted to thank Carrie Davis, Mary Jane Orecki, and Nancy Ryan for their years of service. Nancy Ryan is the first face you see when you walk into West Sand Lake, and she will definitely be sorely missed by the students and the parents there.
Thanks, Jess. Jesse. Did I miss anything, right?
And congratulations to those folks on their retirement.
Oh, yes, congratulations.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's good to see
thank you
them
for your service and then, yeah, congratulations on a long and healthy retirement. I also wanted to acknowledge Ken Tremont for increasing his scholarship amount that goes to our students, and also the Italian Community Center for establishing a senior award. We appreciate those awards for our students. And I just wanted to say another big thank you to our Averill Park Education Foundation for their generous support of, there's multiple projects that they're funding on this agenda. So thank you to those folks.
What is out of my mouth? Anybody else? Michelle? Do you have a? No? Okay. I'm moving on to your. Okay. Great. Okay, hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, item 6, 7, and 8. That is unanimous, thanks guys. Okay, we've got some action items. I need a motion to approve the memorandum of agreement by between Averill Park CSD and the APTA regarding approved extracurricular clubs and activities. Megan first, Adam second. Any discussion? Oh, this is just, there was one that we didn't get to the other one. Okay, hearing no discussion. All those in favor of approving this MOA for extracurriculars? Okay, that's unanimous, good job. I need a motion to approve the terms and conditions document between, okay, terms and conditions between Averill Park CSD and Douglas Kramer and per your attached document. Megan first, Jess Z seconds. Questions, discussion? Doug Kramer.
I just want to take a hot second and say, all these things represent the creative thinking of our district to keep it running smoothly and providing really great things for our students, whether directly or indirectly. So, thank you for all your work with that to make these things happen.
Okay. Yeah, hearing no further discussion, all those in favor, this is 9B, terms and conditions for Doug Kramer. All those in favor, that's unanimous, thank you. I need a motion to approve the memorandum of agreement by between Averill Park CSD and the Center for Disability Services. Lauren first, Megan seconds, any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, all those in favor of approving that, that is unanimous, thank you guys. And Item 9D, I need a motion to approve the agreement between Averill Park CSD and General Care to waive tenure rights. Megan and Lauren seconds. Discussion. This is our new business teacher. Okay, that's my discussion. Okay, hearing no discussion. All those in favor of approving 9D, thank you guys. Okay, check them out. Everybody see the topic policy? We can cruise on through, but our first, 10A is the 8140 unsafe school transfer choice. This is something that got minimal, sorry, go ahead. Adam, you raise your hand.
I was just going to make a motion to wait for the readings and accept 8140 as written.
Okay, all right, with 8140 on the table, would anybody like to discuss waiving the second reading? Okay, hearing no discussion, all those in favor of waiving second reading?
Who's
second? What's that?
Who was second?
I was second.
You were second, I'm sorry. All right.
Okay, and that was unanimous on it. Okay, we have a bunch of rescinds. Multiple of these policies to be rescinded are found in like 2 or 3, and then some were just not, kind of, I would say, per our conversations. Right.
I'd like to make a motion to rescind 10B through 10L in mass.
Okay, do I have a second? Lauren seconds, okay, any discussion?
Just a reiteration that we only rescind or remove policies when there's duplication or representation within other policies. So it's not done arbitrarily or without merit.
Exactly. And as Sam was alluding to, some of these are covered in different policies, some of them are covered in our district safety plan, and a couple of them are covered in our code of conduct.
Any other discussion or questions? Okay, what's on the floor is to rescind 10B through 10L. All those in favor of rescinding all on mass? That is unanimous on that? Thank you guys, well done. Okay, we have resolutions. I need a motion to approve the emergency capital project and for the resolution. That was, I think, Lauren and then Jeff T.
No,
Okay. Discussion on the emergency capital project for PA system.
Just another thank you for, again, having the creative thinking to bring it to us now. I have worked with committees, I've worked with boards and other organizations that would have said, well, it can wait, and would not have gone the extra step. So thank you for that.
Superintendent.
Thank you for that, so that we can get ahead of it. I appreciate it.
Any other discussion? Jesse?
I just kind of want to echo, what Megan said. We're lucky to have the people that we have working on this, and this is obviously something that's super important and one of the easiest decisions we'll have tonight.
Okay. Hearing no further discussion, agility is the buzzword. All those in favor of approving 11A? That is unanimous. I need a motion to approve the resolution with Quest Directory BOCES for the purpose of entering into a lease agreement for the purpose of financing technology purchase. Again, for documentation. Adam first, Jessica seconds. Discussion. Awesome. Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of approving 11B? Okay, that's unanimous. Well done, now. Second public comment period for items not on the agenda, but I still have no issues. That's okay.
I think he's a spider. Well, feast for famine situation
So maybe we'll hear the public comment in our next meeting. So board member reports, and we'll head over to
Well, I want to start by apologizing for Taylor not being here for the last month. We've had Mr. AP rehearsals and track meets that we have to be at. But I heard some of you saw Mr. AP. That was a lot of work, but it was fun, being successful for the senior class, so that's good. I enjoyed learning about the capital project actually, because this has gone on right as I was in high school, since we started in 21, so every single year I've got to watch it actually go through. And it's been cool, the students notice it, so thank you for all the work you've put into that. That's what I have.
Work continues in, whatever, you guys can hear me. Work continues in the policy committee in terms of us working on paring things down, and that's going well. And we have an audit committee meeting tomorrow. And I feel like I will have more informed questions and insight in that as compared to the last one I attended as I continue to move through my fiscal training as a new board member. And yeah, that's all I have. Thanks.
I would like to just elaborate a little bit on the Education Foundation, some cool things that you guys might not know about. That was granted was new micro slides for the middle school, and some ukuleles. Yes, and some wellness mural going on at the middle school. So those are definitely the roots of what the foundation does. So they were excited about those. I think the district was excited to partner with us. So a lot of work goes into that. So I just wanted to kind of point that out, because I know sometimes you might not know the level and capacity that we are giving back. And so, yeah, and that's it. Thanks.
I just want to say that I appreciate the presentations from the different departments. It's really helpful to get a better understanding of what's going on, and it's nice to see the level of commitment and expertise and energy from the teachers and staff. So thank you for including those on the agenda.
2 more next month.
Wait, no, just do that.
I actually don't have anything to add.
I also want to echo the thanks to the admin team, to Tony, everyone who goes above and beyond. Our teachers, who I said it earlier tonight, we are very blessed and lucky to have the caliber of teachers that we have show up and do the hard work and do the extra work. So thank you for that. Want to recognize our students who made it to the honor roll for the 3rd quarter that got announced. And even if you didn't make it to the honor roll, if you tried hard and you did your best, congratulations on completing the 3rd quarter. And, you know, we're almost getting to the end of the year, and it goes by really, really fast. So as we enter, you know, this home stretch of the year, just wishing you all the best and good luck to everybody who's busting it to get across the finish line. Because sometimes honor roll is not attainable for some folks, but they're still trying their hardest. So I want to recognize those kids as well. Want to give a special shout out to one of our seniors who made it. It's an off season for wrestling, but he's an awesome kid. Reese Bunny took 1st place at wrestling tournament for Greco-Roman and earned himself a slot at Fargo, North Dakota Nationals. He's a great kid. He's a great example for the other younger kids on the team, and want to just congratulate him because I happened to see it come up, and you know, shout out for him on the record. So really hoping that the community comes out and continues to engage related to the budget discussions. There's a lot to unpack there. It's a lot that has gone into building it out. And the conversation doesn't end at the budget hearing. So if you have questions, reach out, tag somebody, ask them. And to anybody who wasn't able to attend tonight but is watching at home, thank you for your engagement and attention as well, because you matter. And the vote is May 20th, so please come out and be heard. Whatever your decision is, we want the engagement, so thank you.
I was also just gonna remind everybody, Tuesday, May 20th, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. in the high school auxiliary gym. Please come out and vote. And I just want to comment on our celebrations of success because it's only been 2 weeks since our last meeting. And this time of year, when we are meeting every other week or twice a month, it always amazes me how full those celebration of success videos are when there's such a short period of time in between meetings. And that is a big kudos to everybody in the district who continues to do great things every day. So thank you for your efforts. They are appreciated.
You guys kind of hit most of it. Everybody go vote on May 20th, whatever you do. Let's get those response numbers up as high as we can. I want to just recognize for a moment, it's, I believe, all the NISMA, New York State School Music Association, all those are all done with now for our musicians. And there's one of the things that we saw from the language, the curriculum, is really how kind of above and beyond the faculty goes, and you know what the music teachers have to do for NISMA. Like, I know what I have to do as a parent for NISMA, and I didn't have to set it up for like any of the rest of the kids. And it's a lot of work, and it's a really early test for kids to sort of put themselves out there in a very kind of highly stressful situation, putting themselves on the spot. It could be virtuosic, or it could be a disaster. And they put themselves out there for that, and it's scary as heck. And it's a lot of work for those music teachers. So I just appreciate that very much in the way that we see from all the different departments. Thanks for that. And, see you in a month. But we'll also see you at the voting booth in the gym. Megan, what would you like to say?
Motion to adjourn.
Do you have a second? That would be Adam. All those in favor? That was unanimous. Nice job, man. Look at that. Not even 8:45.